I'll let you know as soon as I get it out.
Mr. Ellis.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, we just thank you for everything that you do for us. We ask you to be with us tonight. Give us the wisdom and the courage to make the right decisions. Watch over our city and our citizens. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I'd like to call this evening's meeting of the Jackson City Council to order. We'll begin with roll call.
Foster. Elliott.
Here.
Colby. Here. Peters.
Here.
Newkirk.
Here.
Crabtree.
Here.
Bach.
The chair would entertain a motion to excuse Mr. Foster. He called me today about 12 o'clock today and said he had a conflicting appointment and was going to try and get here as soon as he could. So, Mr. Elliott.
Excuse Mr. Foster.
Second, Ms. Colby. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. I don't believe Mayor said he had any recognitions this evening.
No, sir, not tonight.
And we didn't have anyone signed to speak, so the next portion on our agenda is the minutes that's found in your packet from the August 26th meeting. Any objections, corrections to the minutes as presented to council? Being none, the chair would entertain a motion to accept. Mr. Bob, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Colby? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Next on our agenda is committee reports. We'll begin with Utility Committee. Mr. Newkirk?
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Newkirk. Budget and Finance, Ms. Colby?
No report.
Thank you, Ms. Colby. Service, Mr. Peters?
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. Auditor's report, Mr. Reed?
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Mr. Kirby?
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. Chief Hinch?
Just real briefly, you'll see back at the monthly statistic update. We had a call, we had several calls, 2 dozen or better, when we had panhandlers down by Walmart on the party lane. And one of the things we had to inform the public is we really don't have the ordinances on the book to enforce that. I did some research this week. There are other cities with ordinances. If anybody's interested, they'd like to contact me to discuss that if they feel like that's an issue. I'm not here to make the laws, I'm here to enforce what's on the books. But if that's something anybody is interested in, there are solutions out there for that. So I thought I would just bring that to your attention.
Thank you, Chief Hinch. Mayor Evans?
Update you on a few projects for council. The 93 South Water Line project we're doing, where we're replacing that water line along 93 from approximately Ralph Street down to Anderson Street at the Heights. That project is ahead of schedule and under budget. Because of that, we are in the process of expanding the scope of that project and now plan to tie into that new line and run it down into the Jackson Heights along Anderson Avenue or Anderson Drive. We've been wanting to replace water lines down in that area for several years. We just haven't been able to secure any funding for it, just because it's entirely residential, and most of the funding that we have got has been tied to economic development. But with this, we've checked and we're allowed to, so hopefully that'll get at least that project off the ground and get started with our water line replacement down in that neighborhood. We received notification we had put in for an Appalachian Regional Commission grant, another $250,000 grant, and we received notification it's moving forward with our application, which means most likely we'll get it. And that is to coincide with our downtown streetscape project that we've got funding for to replace the water lines in the same area ahead of that. So that was good news for us. The big Apple Festival is here. It'll be setting up this weekend, and it's in for next week. So make sure everybody's aware of that. It's already Apple Festival time, but we have a freshly painted Apple water tower downtown just for that. And also, I want to announce at our next meeting, I'll be inviting in the Citizens for Jackson Committee that was formed 4 years ago. They are regrouping, and will be here for the next meeting, helping us promote and answer questions about the income taxes on the ballots. It is just 8 weeks until the November election. So that's very, as you all know, that income tax is very important, allowing us to do the things we're doing, improvements in town. And they will be, they have volunteered again to help us support that, try to get that passed in November. That's it.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions for the mayor? Mr. Peters?
What's the schedule to pave Orange Street, where they replace the sidewalks full of gravel as well?
I thought they were going to pave Orange Street last week, actually, when they were paving over in that neighborhood. They repaved some of the streets. It is still on the list. Honestly, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know why they didn't do it last week. There must be a reason. But they are back in town now, so hopefully it'll be soon.
Mr. Peters?
The new fire hydrants on South Street, there is some concern that we don't have the proper hose sizes to hook up to those. Is that a rumor? Is that true? What can you tell us about that?
That is true. They need adapters for them, and they are on order. The adapters to work, to hook the hoses to them.
Any idea when we will get those? Or?
I do not.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for the mayor? Hearing none, Mr. Sweathammer is not with us this evening, so we'll move on into the ordinances and resolutions portion of our meeting. Beginning with ordinances on first reading, there will be ordinance 4624. Ms. Kuhn?
An ordinance creating, renaming Fund Number 254, Party in the Park, to Fund Number 245, Parks, Trails, and Flood Mitigation Fund, and declaring an emergency.
Could I get a motion to adopt ordinance 4624 as presented to council? Mr. Peters, is there a second? Mr. Elliott? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Discussion, Mr. Reed.
I really hate to do away with this fund, but Party in the Park hasn't been used since '98, so it's an empty fund. We're just going to reuse the line item for their trails, parks grant. So just like to get a council to rename it for me.
You don't like that name?
It wouldn't go with the trails.
Just add that, Party in the Park plus trails. Mr. President?
Yes.
I'll move to suspend the rules, change the name of the fund.
Motion to suspend the rules, is there a second? Mr. Newkirk? Discussion? Ms. Kuhn?
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Crabtree?
Yes.
Bach?
Discussion? Ms. Kuhn?
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Crabtree?
Yep.
Bach?
Ordinance 4624 is duly adopted. Next for council consideration, first reading, ordinance 4724. Ms. Kuhn?
An ordinance to revise the codified ordinances by adopting current replacement pages thereto and declaring an emergency.
Could I get a motion to adopt ordinance 4724 as presented to council? Mr. Newkirk, is there a second? Ms. Colby? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Discussion. Ms. Kuhn?
This is the ordinance that we approved to adopt the replacement pages for our codifieds that we do each quarter. You can see there were no state changes, but we still have to do this to adopt our current ordinances for the city.
Thank you, Ms. Kuhn.
Mr. President, I'll move to suspend the rules to adopt, no changes.
Motion by Mr. Peters to suspend, second by Mrs. Colby. Discussion. Ms. Kuhn?
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Crabtree?
Yes.
Bach?
Further discussion? Ms. Kuhn?
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Crabtree?
Yes.
Bach?
Ordinance 4724 is duly adopted. Next, for council consideration. First reading, Resolution 4224. Ms. Kuhn?
A resolution authorizing the director of the Lillian Jones Museum to file a grant application with the Jackson County Community Foundation and declaring an emergency.
Could I get a motion to adopt Resolution 4224 as presented to the council? Mr. Elliott, is there a second? Mr. Crabtree? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Discussion, Mr. Reed.
All this does is allow her to apply for the grant, and I believe she needs it so that she can get the application.
Mr. Peters?
I'll move to suspend so she can apply for the grant.
Motion by Mr. Peters to suspend, second by Mr. Elliott. Discussion? Ms. Kuhn?
Elliott.
Yes.
Colby.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Newkirk.
Yes.
Crabtree.
Yes.
Bach.
Further discussion? Ms. Kuhn?
Elliott.
Yes.
Colby.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Newkirk.
Yes.
Crabtree.
Yes.
Bach.
Resolution 4224 is duly adopted. Next, for council consideration, Resolution 4324, first reading.
I have a 43. Yeah, I have 3 44s.
You want my 43?
I would like the 43.
You can have my 43. Hang on one second.
A resolution of the legislative authority of the City of Jackson, Ohio, approving change orders and declaring an emergency.
Chair would like a motion to adopt Resolution 4324 as presented to council. Mr. Bach, is there a second? Ms. Colby? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Discussion, Mayor Evans.
Yeah, this is asking council to approve this change order as recommended by the engineer for the South Street water line project. This is a unit price contract. Most of this is where they have run additional water lines, and it's by the foot, so, and then also the asphalt needed for filling those extra lines in. And it did include some extra fire hydrants too. Most of this work is already done. They started back today with the final asphalt of the trench repairs. So it'd be nice if the council pass this on first reading too.
Thank you, Mayor. Further discussion?
I move to suspend the rules.
Ms. Colby, move to suspend. Is there a second? Mr. Newkirk, second. Discussion?
Yes, let me add that this project also is well under budget too, and still well within the budget that was set for this project, even including this change order.
Thank you, Mayor. Further discussion? Ms. Kuhn?
Elliott.
Yes.
Colby.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Newkirk.
Yes.
Crabtree.
Yes.
Bach.
Yes.
Any further discussion? Ms. Kuhn?
Elliott.
Yes.
Colby.
Yes.
Peters. Newkirk.
Yes.
Crabtree.
Resolution 4324 is duly adopted. Next, council consideration on first reading, Resolution 4424. Ms. Kuhn?
A resolution accepting the conveyance of a 2023 trailer from the Jackson County Firefighters Association for use by the Jackson Fire Department in trade for existing trailer and declaring an emergency.
Could I get a motion to adopt ordinance 4424 as presented to council? Mr. Peters, is there a second? Mr. Elliott? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Discussion, Mayor Evans.
Yeah, the Jackson County Firefighters Association has always and continues to raise a lot of funds and purchase things for their use in the department. This is another trailer that they have bought with their own money, and when they do that, they like to basically give it, to turn it over to the city, so it's covered by our insurance and stuff. And then what you see was handwritten in this. They also, this is a trailer to replace a trailer that they previously did with, so now they want the other trailer back so they can dispose of it.
Further discussion? Any further action to be taken on Resolution 4424?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Mr. Crabtree, motion to suspend, is there a second? Mr. Bott, second. Discussion? Ms. Kuhn?
Elliott.
Yes.
Colby.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Newkirk.
Yes.
Crabtree. Bott.
Further discussion?
Elliott.
Yes.
Colby.
Yes.
Peters. Newkirk.
Yes.
Crabtree. Bott.
Resolution 4424 is duly adopted. This concludes our ordinances and resolutions portion of our meeting. I thank council for their time. We will now, on our agenda, go to correspondence.
I do not have any.
No correspondence, so we'll go to old business.
Mr. President?
Mr. Peters.
Last meeting, some of the parking ordinances were discussed. It was very nice to take copies of this last with them. There's a section here that I marked on the front page under B. I drew a little bracket around this section that I was going to talk about. So not everyone has one. The first page is a little bracket around section B. There's no change to anything except amending ordinance 4017 to add Portsmouth Street between Main and Pearl for the 24-hour section, which would help out our businesses on that street. I'm sorry that I wasn't more prepared for this, but at least she has everything here in front of us. But I would move to amend ordinance 4017 to include under what is section B in front of you, to add Portsmouth Street between Main Street and Pearl Street under the 24-hour restriction.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Elliott. Discussion?
Are we just
Is it aye, nay, or a roll call?
call this?
That's my question. Is it a roll call or is it a?
So basically, it's going to be ordinance 4824. And we're just making an amendment. It's going to be an emergency to take effect this year. If it's not, it'll take effect next, well, it'll take effect in 30 days. And then treat it just like a regular ordinance. So you go through and suspend the rules if they want to do that, and otherwise just a regular reading.
Get your street again, right?
Yeah, we're only adding Portsmouth Street between Main Street and Pearl Street to the section discussed last meeting. With that, there's still a motion on the floor, it's an aye and nay vote.
So they adopt, so you've got it in front of you, so it'll be a first reading unless somebody makes a motion to suspend rules.
My question is, that the motion's on the floor, do we have to have an aye, nay vote to make the adjustment?
I thought you did that already.
Go forward with an ordinance.
No, we haven't.
You have not? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
That was my question.
I'm sorry.
I have a...
So we need an all in favor for the amendment.
And you'll need at least 3 people.
Okay.
So yes.
Ms. Kuhn? Roll call?
You just said it could be all.
Well, actually, you'll need.
You want me to do roll call?
Would you? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules to adopt the amendment that we made to 4017.
Is there a second? Mr. Newkirk, second. Discussion.
Did somebody add the emergency? Did you add the emergency, Brian? You didn't on this yet.
Yes.
No, I don't know that we did.
No, so it will be separate, so if this is going to be as an emergency,
It will need to be as an emergency.
I mean, if you suspend rules, you can get it as a first reading, but it won't take
Wouldn't
take it
the
back
new-
to 30 days.
This is a new ordinance, right?
So it would be 4824.
We'll have to adopt this ordinance, won't we, first?
Right.
But
So,
We voted to suspend.
Can't suspend it, we haven't adopted
no,
Is that what we're
no,
just-
no. So you've got it. So the ordinance is going to be, basically, you're amending and repealing ordinance 4824. Do you want to do it as an emergency?
We do.
And declaring an emergency?
Yes.
So it's going to be exactly the same as 41,
47.
4017, with the addition of S3. So that's what's been adopted, and now there's a motion to suspend rules, and it's going to be as an emergency. So that's where we are now. So we have 6 people to...
Can I ask a question?
Hold on one second. I'll come to you in just a second. Let me make sure I got myself ironed out here, then I'll come right to you. So we have accepted on an emergency basis, and so basically, we're in the discussion portion, and then it will be, after discussion, then it will be up for a roll call vote.
Just like every other one, just suspend the rules on that.
Okay. Chief Hinch.
What would be the expectation of enforcing something that gets passed a week and a half before it's really an issue as far as being able to alert the public adequately in time before we start citing? That's a concern I have, that, I mean, typically there's a period of time in which the public has to read and be notified of the change. I just don't know what it's not been on the books since, and the rest of this has been there since 2017. We changed it today, it's in September, within the same month. My agency would be charged with enforcing that, which would include ticketing and potentially towing vehicles. There's going to be a lot of pushback on that.
Oh, yeah, there's a sign maker, let's make a bunch of signs. I don't know what's, just as you said earlier, that you're in charge of enforcing them, we're not in charge of that, we're just in charge of making them, so however it gets enforced, it gets enforced, that's up to the admin and you. We're just making the changes that were asked, and obviously agreed by council. So I don't have any expectation, other than we changed it to help the businesses on that street. That's it. I have no expectation.
Further discussion? Ms. Coon?
Brian first, Newkirk second, right? Suspend the rules. Okay. Foster?
Yes.
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Crabtree?
Yes.
Bach?
Further discussion? Ms. Coon?
Foster? Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters? Newkirk? Crabtree? Bach?
This would be
4824.
for you. Hold on, so I'll put it. Ordinance 4824 is duly adopted. Other old business to be brought before council.
One more parking thing that we discussed last time, sorry. I have a copy of the municipal lot, which was in discussion the last meeting. The ordinance was passed in 2008 regarding municipal lots, and it says, public parking, and this is the one that's on Portsmouth Street, public parking shall be available throughout the year except for the week of the Jackson Apple Festival, being Saturday before the festival through the following Saturday during the week, the Apple Festival, the Jackson Fire Department shall control the municipal parking lot and may lease the parking spaces on the lot to raise funds for the fire department. So it was said last meeting that the Boy Scouts are now in charge of fundraising on the lot. I understand it's really close to time. I was just talking to Mr. Kirby, a lot of the businesses uptown are the ones who are paying for the spots. So they can park there 51 weeks out of the year. For the week of the Apple Festival, they have to buy spaces for their employees or themselves due to lack of parking uptown. My concern is the fire department, I don't feel like has the authority to sublease that to someone else, because the ordinance clearly states that they have control of the lot for the parking spaces to raise funds for the fire department, not for Boy Scouts, not for anyone else. So I guess I'm just stating this for the record that I don't think that should be a thing. I don't think that the fire department should be giving that away. And if that's the way, then the ordinance needs to be changed. And then if that is the thing, then the city can't give that away. So the city doesn't have the ability to let someone take the city property and then make profit from it. So that's something that really needs to be fixed. Maybe too late in the year for that now. But I just want to be on the record to say that I think it needs changed, and I don't think that's the right thing to do there, so.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. Other comments? Mayor?
I would just say, if council wants to change that, you can do just like you did the other one, change it tonight. We also could change it and do a first reading tonight. Or we could bring it to the next meeting. You can instruct Joe to bring it to the next meeting.
The problem is now, though, is that they have sold the spots. And then it's too late, because like he's saying, like these people that own businesses uptown are purchasing the spots for either themselves to go to work or their employees. So that's something we need to fix. We don't have to fix it tonight, I don't think, but that's something that we need to get fixed before next year, because for one, it's just crazy that you own and operate a business uptown, and then for 1 week, you have to buy your parking spot. Yeah, it's great, it's going to a good cause, but still, it doesn't make a lot of sense. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. Other discussion on this topic? Mr. Elliott?
Not this topic. I just wondered if it was noted that this fella arrived. So, because his vote appears out of nowhere. Well, I just wanted to make sure that his arrival was noted in the minutes. Because his vote is noted.
Ms. Kuhn, would you please note that within the minutes that Mr. Foster was able to
He show up
Yeah.
for that last one.
get to the second part of the meeting. Any other old business?
Old business, a question for the mayor. Middle Avenue, is that paving schedule, or is it not? I just came across it.
That's funny, I just was asked that earlier today. Bennett Avenue was on the paving list for this year and was removed for some reason.
Oh, my
And I was
God.
trying to figure out why this afternoon, and make it put back on.
Can you trade the street around?
Maybe. We'll be talking
Won't you
about that.
trade right down here on
Locust.
Yeah, where the concrete part is, you're gonna pave that?
It's possible,
Yeah.
it's possible. We'll be discussing that tomorrow morning in our managers meeting.
Okay.
New business?
Mr. President, our next meeting is on the 23rd, is that right?
That is correct.
I
Yes.
just wanted to ask council, I'm going to be out of town on the 23rd. I don't know if this is possible, but I wanted to see if anybody was interested in having that meeting on the 30th. Don't want to move it for me, I won't be here, but I want to at least offer.
Is there an issue with moving our meeting to the last Monday of the month on September the 30th?
That would have to be a special meeting.
That would have to be a special.
I was wondering that.
So advertise it.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll miss you. We'll miss you.
Have fun.
Under new business, I do want to note for council that chambers have been requested on the 24th from 11 to 1 by the CDBG Fair. So they'll be here at that time on the 24th. Also, in new business, Mr. Elliott, would you like to expound on your prior meeting in regards to the zoning?
I can. It's complicated. I'll just say this.
Okay, we've already had a few comments, so we'll fit right in.
We granted a variance to the residents of 120 South High with some provisions added that they can build a garage there.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. Any other new business? This should come before council. Mr. Peters.
A lot of these projects that are happening, we've talked about it, we've semi-argued about it. I was thinking, I read some other cities have more stringent guidelines for big projects, utility projects. Something like, in the planning phase, there's hearings, there's public information hearings where the contractor shows up and talks about the scope of the work and talks about the timeline and talks about, what could happen. If y'all remember when they were talking about putting the roundabout out by Walmart, ODOT actually came here and presented that to council. So the scope of the project, what it would look like. It ended up not happening, but at least we were informed if it were going to happen. That was the information meeting. My point is, and I've said, we need to do a better job of basically customer service to our taxpayers. So there are a couple of cities in Ohio that have stringent rules for utility projects. For example, if the gas company wants to come in and put the gas line in, they put it where we tell them to put it. So then they know that ahead of time, and if they're engineering whatever, they know they got to put it in the grass right away, then they know that. Then that's not a factor going forward. Same thing, the water line. We say, sorry, any replacements can't go through the streets. Laterals can go across the street, but nothing can go down the center of the street. That's new. Those are things that we need to look at because we are growing. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to put stuff down. We're going to tear it back up. It looks like sometimes like there's no organization to it, but in the big picture, we all get it. There's going to be uncomfortable situations in the name of progress. But we need to do a better job of easing the pain, and we also need to do a better job of communicating it to the public. So I was going to bring some stuff to maybe service committee here in the next few meetings where we can start to talk about adopting those types of ordinances to start to protect some of the investments that we do. It's like you fix the street, you pave it, come back later, you dig it all back up, and then you already fixed it like 2 years ago. So it doesn't seem cost effective either. So just some things to make that easier for the public. The communication, like, hey, these streets are going to be closed during these times, expect this, look for this. Here's a number you can call if there's something wrong or whatever, but we as a group here need to do a better job of that, so we can change it. So I'll present that in the coming weeks, months. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. Anything else, new business to come before council? Mr. Elliott?
In regards to that, I wonder if the zoning people have any ideas on that. Just a thought. Am I?
Crossroads. the crossroads.
At least ideas of what some other cities do.
Yeah. What's standard procedure?
Yeah.
When are they coming back?
I don't know when they're scheduled to be back.
Received anything on it?
I don't know. We'll try and have that for council.
Something we need to ask them. If there's something about a home, a house in town, how many cars can they have? I mean,
8.
really? Well, there's a place in,
I think it's more for, maybe more for enforcement, but we can ask. Anything else to be brought before council? Hearing nothing, the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Crabtree, is there a second? Ms. Colby? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. We stand.